All right, guys. So I'm going to do this video on Bill Burr's monologue. Now, I know a lot of people say that Bill Burr is this non-PC comedian. I've actually, when I hear non-PC comedian these days in a modern era, I think they're a bunch of wusses. They're not actually non-PC in the realm of an Archie Bunker. These people are selectively non-PC. So every time I hear these people going, hey, this guy's a non PC entertainer, a non PC comedian, all I think is they're a bunch of punks. They're a bunch of punks who go out their way, who know exactly where the boundaries are. Yeah, all right. A bunch of punks and bullies who know where the boundaries are. And they'll make these uh, non PC racist, non PC jokes towards certain groups. But then when it comes to other groups, like the blacks or the Jews, they'll just avoid any kind of negative stereotypes when it comes to them. And I just think, I'm pretty sure that Bill Burr is one of those comedians. But I'm going to do this reaction video to his monologue, all right? Yeah, so basically he starts off that first joke with, mask wearers. Here's the thing about the whole COVID thing. Um, if you like, I don't have a stance on people wearing masks, etc., etc. I don't have a problem with places asking me to wear a mask. That's fine. But if you like go down the whole entire statistics of people who have actually died from this whole coronavirus, it's probably around the same statistic as the flu. All right. He look, the first joke is really weak. It's really weak, and from what I'm assessing through that first joke, he's a liberal. He's a liberal. All right. All right. So basically, his second joke. Now, look, I'm neither liberal nor a Republican. Okay. I'm neither a liberal nor a conservative. I consider myself a realist. You give me the facts, I'll give you, you know, an analysis from the facts. Okay. His second joke is about Rick Moranis being knocked out by a black dude. All right. Nowhere in the jokes does he mention that the dude who knocked him out was black. All right. I'm almost positive if the dude who knocked him out was either Asian or Latino or Muslim or Arab or whatever, he would have mentioned their race. All right. Did not mention their race for a reason because he doesn't want to go there. All right. I've said this about these weak comedians. All right. Uh, these weak pieces of garbage comedians who and entertainers who actually consider themselves non-PC. You're not non-PC, dude. Okay. If all you're gonna do is go after certain making negative racist jokes towards certain groups and races because you know you can get away with it, but when it comes to other groups like the blacks and the Jews, who you're gonna tiptoe around, uh, look, don't consider yourself non-PC. All right, you're a punk. That's what you are, a punk. All right, and a coward on top of that. All right, list yourself as something else. Describe yourself as another kind of comedian. Okay, he did not once in the entire monologue mention black. He knows that the whole, he from that joke he goes on to say New York City is coming back. The '80s era, the '70s era of violent New York City is coming back. You know why it's coming back? Because of the black violence. Because of the black violence. Did not even mention anything about that. You know, yo, weak, just weak. Like I said, these people will do positive stereotypes when it comes to blacks and Jews, neutral stereotypes when it comes to blacks and Jews. But when it comes to negative stereotypes, like they got low IQ, or they're a bunch of animals, or they're violent, or they're rapists, murderers, etc., etc., he won't go there. He won't go there. He could do a ton of jokes on that. He won't go there. It's just cowardly, man. But watch all these people that he goes after. All right, watch all these people that he goes after. Like the he's going around, he's going sticking Eminem store on Times Square. Such there's been an Eminem store on Times Square since probably the 2000s, man, for like the last 20 years. All right, so this guy, instead of blaming the violence of black people, he goes and blames, you know, like the punk that he is. His jokes goes on and blame uh, the businesses there, the hardworking people there. He goes and blames normal people just walking around doing their thing. All right, it's just cowardly. He knows where the boundaries are, so he's just moving around, moving around the boundaries, so he doesn't he's tiptoeing around the boundaries, so he doesn't go and makes those real jokes about real stuff. Just punk behavior, just cowardly behavior. This is not the definition of non-PC. All right, this is the definition of a coward who writes his material covering things that he knows he can get away with, yet tiptoeing around things that he won't. And by the way, these comedians are just not making jokes. These are not jokes. These goes out to millions and millions and millions of people. It has influence on society. All right, it has influence. So the people who he's putting the blame on are the hardworking people who are doing their thing, who have businesses, who get up in the morning, do their work, and etc. etc. All right, those people who she's shifting, the blame on, they're the ones who get it. In the me, in society, they're the one who gets it, and then the people who are wrong, the bad guys. These guys. This guy who went up and punched Rick Moranis. This is not an isolated incident. Why didn't he mention all the incidents where these black guys are punching out old people, shooting innocent people, robbing people? It's just cowardly, man. Like, anybody who tells me that Bill Burr is some, uh, you know, uh, non-PC comedian, you're a bunch of punks too. On top of that, his audience, they're a bunch of punks. You're a bunch of sissies. All right, so he says he's probably gonna get canceled for doing these jokes. I mean, what is he gonna get canceled for? All right, like what is he gonna get canceled for? He just ripped on hardworking people of New York City, people who own businesses. Those are the people who he ripped on. He's not gonna get canceled. He's a punk. All right, these people. He knows he's not gonna get canceled with those kind of jokes, but he's gonna say he gets. It's just cowardly the way he works his monologue around this. It's just cowardly, man. Think about that. All right, so his next joke is on John Wayne. Now, I actually saw that John Wayne interview when they interviewed John Wayne. All right, John Wayne. When that piece came out, it says that John Wayne was a racist. He was this. He was that. But if you actually watch that whole entire interview, his response to those questions were pretty much well thought out. I didn't get the sense that he was racist in a way where he went out to be mean spirited and was racist. It was a well thought out answer. But here's the thing about it. All right, Bill Burr, you knew that John Wayne was talking about black people in that interview. Nowhere in this whole entire monologue does he even bring up black people. All right, nowhere. Even with this whole John Wayne joke that he doesn't even bring up black people. Like, oh, you know what? John Wayne was talking about black people, how they're below standard. Like they weren't up to standard as far as you know. Uh, I actually forgot how that interview went, but I think John Wayne said that that they should, you know what, forget it, because I forget that whole John Wayne interview, but it was around black people, and Bill Burr, a guy who's supposed to be non-PC, doesn't even bring up the subject matter of what John Wayne said. He skirts around that. All right, if you're a real non-PC person, if you're a non-real PC comedian, you don't do these kind of jokes and not actually bring up the real subject matter of it. All right, think about that. He skirts around stuff. He finds out where the boundaries are, and he skirts around, he tiptoes around certain things, and then goes to certain things that he can actually joke about and get away with. And the term is get away with, where he doesn't get canceled. He'll tell himself he'll get canceled, but he knows these jokes are not going to get himself canceled, because the jokes that he knows he could get canceled um, are the stuff about real stuff, real life. Okay, this is just Disneyland crap. All right, I don't know why anybody goes and says comedians like Bill Burr are not PC. The punks. This is like weak stuff. Okay, so these the last parts portion of this whole entire monologue. Okay, after the John Wayne skit, he goes after white women. Buddy, how do you go after white women, huh? I mean, I don't understand this. All right, over the last uh 3 to 4 months, all right, it's been nothing but BLM, Black Lives Matter, rioting, blacks burning down stuff, etc., etc. You don't even have a single joke about that. All right, but then you go after white women who you know you can get away with. All right, you're not going to get canceled over those jokes. All right, um, why go after white women? All right, they're not out there knocking you guys out. They're not out there rioting. They're not out there. They're not out there. Burning stuff down. Those are blacks. They're not white women doing this. Why is your material going after white women? I don't get it unless you're a punk. You are, and you are a punk, dude. All right, comedians like this dude who people think are not PC. They're the most PC people. They're just working the material around stuff. They are worse than any PC comedian that you know of because they're manipulative. All right, white women are not doing any of that stuff, and then he does this joke about white women sleeping with black dudes. Dude, do you know what the rape statistics are of black dudes raping white women? I mean, look up that statistic, man. Yo, like you going after white women is just the most cowardly move that you could make. All right, you're essentially worse than any PC person that's out there. You're punk. You're a punk comedian. That's all you are, as a punk comedian. You're not non-PC, bro. Yo, this guy is so, I guess he's like black pussy whipped from his black chick. By the way, 50% of black chicks got herpes. All right. I ain't throwing out there just to be racist, but that's a fact. If you go on Google right now and you put that in, herpes rate of black women, look, STDs are STDs. You got them, you got them. But 50%, that's really a bad statistics. Nobody ever mentions that. Maybe he should mention that, and then he does this whole entire joke about black, white women. If you sleep with black guys, a lot of you sleep with, but some of you sleep with black guys and you guys, deny it, or like, dude, look up the rape statistics for white women who have been raped by black dudes. All right, look at those statistics. All right, don't like you pushing the blame towards all these other groups, that are pretty much victims. Victims. It's just the most cowardly thing. It's just cowardly, man. It's just so cowardly, dude. All right, this dude. I think white people like this dude, like, they need to be knocked out a couple of times, because apparently black people have been, you see so many videos of white people getting knocked out that their cowardice just shows. All right. Every single group that he's making fun of, hardworking people, women, gays, maybe they should all just knock him out. Maybe they just go up to him, just knock him out, knock these people out, and then maybe they would show a little bit more respect to all these people that they're trying to make fun of, that are essentially, uh, you know, victims. All right, guys. So his next joke up is about gay people, the whole gay parade, gay month, etc., etc. And then you know, he makes a joke about how, blacks were slaves, but gay people weren't, etc., etc., and they got a better month. And, like, look, look, I think gay people have pretty much been oppressed since the beginning of time. I think black people has been oppressed maybe like 400 years, and that's just a subgroup of them. But as far as I know, all gay people have been oppressed since the beginning of time, to the point where they actually had to hide their sexuality. Now, me personally, I'm not gay, but like if he wanted to go to compare victimization, he probably should just compare victimization to the Native Americans, because I think black people pretty much just uh, skip the line when it comes to the whole victimization complex, as well as the Jews. They both of these groups kind of skip the line. All right, Native Americans have been in America for the last 15,000 years. Been in this country for the last 15,000 years. All right, they've been here since forever. All right, everybody came from another place. Europeans came from the Middle East. All right, all right. You can go towards that. You can make an argument of that timeline, but Native Americans are just Americans. I mean, they're the only Americans in this country. The only Americans in this country will ever have. The only real ones. All right. They've been oppressed since Columbus got here. They've been, and they're still living in reservations. They're still living in reservations in 2020. Still don't have the land back. Why is he comparing the whole gay thing to the blacks, like the blacks are the ultimate victims? The blacks are not the ultimate victims, okay? The Jews are not the ultimate victims. The ultimate victims are actually Native Americans, okay? Until you guys give that land back, and then move back to Europe, move back to Africa. Don't skip that. Do not skip that. It always pisses me off when the whole victimization of black people gets you know put in front of Native Americans, when the whole Jew Holocaust get put in because of the media. All right, Bill Burr, but back to this whole entire thing where he's making fun uh, of of gay people. They have every right to their month. All right, I'm not gay, but if you're gonna give black people all this a whole victimization complex, might as well give anybody who wants a victimization complex that right to have that victimization complex. All right, I hope the gay mafia. I hope the gay mafia in Hollywood actually cancels this piece of garbage. All right, like if he was just labeled as like Bill Burr, the comedian, instead of Bill Burr, the non-PC comedian, because I hate hypocrisy. I'd be like, okay, he does jokes. I mean, but to label this guy a non-PC guy and to say Bill Burr, he's a non-PC, every single time he's a guest on some show or I'm watching a video, he does racist. He doesn't do racist jokes. He does racial jokes. Maybe he does racist jokes towards groups he can get away with, but that's not non-PC. That's just cowardly. That's just cowardly. All right, and I know you guys who are watching this don't like hearing this, all right, because I've posted over and over and over and over again about Dave Chappelle, how he's a hypocrite, how he's non-PC. I've posted about this dude, Bill Burr, who's non-PC. I've posted about so many of these comedians who actually label themselves non-PC comedians. They're worse than they're worse than PC comedians, all right? They're hypocrites. Hypocrites, punks, cowards, just the worst of the worst. All right, these cancel this dude's career. All right, I'm hoping the gays cancel this dude's career. You guys have enough power in the media, in the industry, to cancel his career for not for his jokes, but for calling himself a non-PC guy who tells it like straight the way it is, but he doesn't. All right, he goes around the block on certain, he tiptoes around certain subjects, and then he goes and does this bullying racist crap towards groups that he can get away with. It's cowardly, guys, absolutely cowardly.